G'day Skippy, how's it going, mate? What's that, Skip? You've got a bottle of Steve the Bartender's gin all the way from Australia? And you want me to feature it on the channel? Well, Struth, mate, let's crack on with it.
No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman, and today, my friends, we have a gin on the show which I've been looking forward to trying for absolutely ages. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Threefold Gin, all the way from Australia. And as you can probably tell by my opening skit, this has actually been made by Steve the Bartender. Now, I imagine most of you know who Steve the Bartender is. If you don't, well, basically he is another YouTuber. He has a channel where he does cocktails and all sorts of drinks and mixology. He's extremely talented, very, very knowledgeable guy, and he's an all-round nice bloke as well. And what he's done, he's got together with a couple of mates of his and he has created his own gin, and it is this little fellow here. So I am very excited and very much looking forward to getting stuck into it with you today. But before we do that, I must once again thank another one of my subscribers who has joined the ranks of my patrons. So Mr. Marco Perez, thank you very much, my friend. You are a gentleman, sir, and I salute you. So then, let's see what they say about it on the website, shall we? And as it is from Australia, I shall be reeling out my Australian accent again. However, I will not be doing my amusing hats for this anymore, because some of you might have seen previously I wore the cowboy hat for the American gins, the London flat cap for the London gins, but somebody wrote in and said it's a bit childish, it's a bit infantile, and that basically stated that no self-respecting YouTuber would do that on their channel. The team at Threefold Distilling have spent 12 long, exciting months distilling, tasting, and testing our first gin release. We've meticulously crafted our aromatic gin recipe, and after much refinement have selected 11 botanicals that create a gin full of flavour and that makes an incredible gin and tonic. A delicate piney freshness accompanied by a citrusy bouquet of grapefruit, orange and lemon. A touch of native wattle seed. Wattle seed? I've no idea what wattle seed is, but it sounds like one of those words that could just only be Australian. Oh, mate, you whacked me straight in the wattle seeds, you flaming galah! For a rich mouthfeel and both pepperberry and pink pepper to provide a well-rounded aromatic gin. Bonza! Struth, mate! That Bobby Freeman's got a few kangaroos loose in the top paddock. Right then, no more fanning around, let's get the old top off and have a sniff. But before we do that, we do have a cork, so we know what that means. It's the Cork Test!
The Cork Test.
So then, first of all, do we have a squeak? We don't get many squeaks these days, but we'll give it a go. Oh, hello! Oh my goodness, that's the loudest squeak we've ever had! Wow, that's looking good for the Cork Test. So, hang on, let's have one more squeak, I love that. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Let's go for the full pull, see what we get. Oh! Oh my God, a textbook cork test, which was one the other day. It was the best cork test ever. I think it was the number 3 gin, but do you know what? I think we might have a contender for the best cork test. It was a slightly smaller bottle, so I didn't have high hopes, but excellent work on the cork test there. So, cork test passed, let's go for the old sniff test. So let's get some in the old glass, shall we? There we go, it's quite a bit in there, so let's have a lovely little sniff. Oh, do you know what, gin lovers? A few of you who have watched any of you have watched my other gin videos where I've reviewed Australian gins. They have been consistently incredible, excellent, not put a foot wrong, every single one of them. And straight away, the smells. I don't like to go on too much about the smells, as I've said before, because it is a bit pretentious and kind of boring, but God damn, that is one of those gins that's just genuinely lovely to smell. You got bags of citrus and kind of this beautiful sort of grapefruity. I'm not a huge fan of the grapefruit, but when used in moderation, it can sort of add a lot to the gin. But it's kind of a sort of a lovely spiciness which tickles the old nostrils as well. It's got everything going, and exactly what I expected from an Australian gin. However, as I say, we don't spend too long sniffing the gin because it is rather boring and bordering on pretentious. So then, let's get a tiny bit of tonic in there just to release those flavours. So here we go, my friends. Steve the Bartender's Threefold Gin, all the way from Australia. I say, cheers. Oh my God. Oh. Once again, oh man, it's still going. It's still rumbling on the flavours. Hang on a minute. Woo, woo, woo. Once again, Australia, everyone seems to think, the best gins and the most well-known gins come from Europe and possibly mostly in the UK. But honestly, Australia is where it is at. There are so many different gins over there, but they are just incredible. And this is the latest one in a long line. I cannot tell you. Well, I will. The flavours in there, I always talk about, I do repeat myself sometimes on the show, but I always talk about balancing of flavours. And this is just a symphony. It's an absolute symphony that you can tell that they spent, they spent 12 months testing this gin, and they've obviously tweaked it and refined it and sort of fine-tuned it. It's just awesome. So the main flavours in this gin are grapefruit, juniper, lavender, pink peppercorn, rosemary and Tasmanian pepperberry. Now, as I said to you earlier, grapefruit is not actually my favourite flavour in gin. In fact, I'm not that keen on it, so I was a little bit apprehensive, but unlike some of the sort of grapefruit gins, like the Whitley Neal one, for example, where they just whacked a whole load of grapefruit flavour in there, which was kind of overpowering. This, they kind of sort of woven it into the fabric of the gin, so it just sort of melds with the other ones and just works beautifully. And instead of just being this all-encompassing flavour, just sort of beautifully works with the others and just creates this sort of, as I say, a symphony and harmony of flavours. It's very heavy on the junipers, which I like, because obviously if it's not juniper, it's not gin. I made my own gin in last week's video, and I went too far with the junipers. I realised what it's like if you go too far. So it is a balancing act with that, because it's such a strong flavour. But again, they've got it bang on with this one. Now, what's interesting here is they've got lavender in there. Now, lavender can be, I know a lot of people have said they don't like gins with lavender in. I find, I get what you're saying, because it's a very big, all-encompassing flavour. But if you use it very delicately, it can just, you don't really taste it. It's more of a sort of an essence, a sort of ghostly remnants of it. And that's what they've done here. It's the perfect amount. There was another one, Tarquin's up here, had lavender in it as well, a little bit more. And it, again, worked very, very nicely. And they've just, again, found the perfect amount. You can tell, you can really feel when a gin has had a lot of time spent on it and a lot of love and passion poured into it. And this is one of those gins, like with many of the Australian gins actually, there's just so much going on in there. It could easily be overbalanced, but honestly, that is just a balancing masterclass. And what I really love that finishes it off beautifully is to sort of counteract and counterbalance, but complement those sort of swirling, sort of citrusy and sort of floral flavours, is the beautiful sort of punchy spikiness of the peppercorns. What was it? Pink peppercorns and pepperberry as well. I'm not sure what pepperberry is, but I guess it's a peppery sort of flavour. And it just gives it a bit of punch, a bit of oomph, a bit of grunt in the bottom of the gin, which, and again, very easy to go overboard on that. I think the Lone Wolf gin from over here in the UK, that was a bit too much, an example of what happens when you go a little bit too much on the pepperiness. But these guys, again, they clearly know what they're doing, and they've just put every ounce of their knowledge into this gin. And honestly, I'm not just saying it's because it's Steve the Bartender, I'm always, right from the start of this show, I've always promised just to be honest and tell you just speak as I find and give you my exact thoughts as they come through. And honestly, that, as I say, I'm a big fan of Australian gin anyway, but that has to be up there with the best of them. So I say to you guys at the Threefold Distillery, keep up the good work, my friends. So then, you're thinking to yourselves, Freeman, that sounds bloody good. Where can I get some and how much is it going to cost me? Well, at the moment, at the time of recording, I believe it's only available in Australia. But I know I do have many subscribers and viewers down under. So if you're looking to get some of this, guys, it's going to cost you 65 of your finest Australian dollars. And to give my other viewers an idea of what that equates to, it's £35 or 47 US dollars, which is a little bit above my £30 bracket, which I like to spend. However, about bang on what you should be spending if you're buying a gin from a smaller distillery to support the new guys and keep things interesting. So guys, all in all, that gin has got a lot going through it. It's got bags of flavour, it's beautifully balanced, it's very well priced really, especially when you consider that a lot of the gins in Australia, a lot of my subscribers have got in touch with me and told me how expensive it is. They can pay, it's not uncommon to pay like $90 for a bottle, so at 65, honestly, that is a bargain. And not only is it a bargain, it's truly awesome as well. So I recommend you go out and buy some immediately. So guys, what a video today. I'm so glad I've tried it. In fact, do you know what? I don't do this very often. I am gonna down it. Here we go. down the bloody hatch, my friends. And as always, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to my show. And if you want to support me like good old Marco Perez did, head over to my Patreon page as well. And of course, last but not least, don't forget to check out Steve The Bartender and his YouTube channel, the link for which I will put in a section below. But until next time, guys, from me and Skippy, take care, stay safe, thank you to all my patrons, and keep drinking the gin. Come on, Skippy, salute. Oh, his arm's not long enough.